Halo gives you wings.
Valen feeling some of the pressure. They swing into him. He gets 3 on the round.
Has that support from Zeppa, close range. No U till the half out. Sylvester allows Oxy to fall off.
Cloud9 come back with a vengeance, and they're able to pick up that second map win, and now they'll enjoy some delicious potassium. All right, folks, you are back here at the desk with GB, Mel, Wyatt, and Bala as we break down what we've seen so far. And what we saw was Cloud9 just absolutely trouncing G2 round after round. And Bala, it really did feel like G2 just did not have an answer at all in that map.
We've kind of seen this situation for G2 before. They've gotten stomped on maps like this.
Yeah.
I actually T1 at Shanghai in one of their opening games. They got demolished 13-1 on this one. So it's a map that they've been struggling with. They've had highs and lows, and this one definitely, unfortunately, was a big low.
Yeah, it's interesting, too, because back in stage 1, this was their go-to pick for many weeks in a row.
Yeah.
They were rolling teams on it. Leaf was a beast playing KJ on this map. His stats were out of control. He was getting almost a kill per round. And then at some point, I think it was a loss against Loud, things just completely changed for them. They have not been able to find a remedy to, this fallen map for them.
Yes. I know, man. Loud, they'll rattle your brain clearly there. But, you can see the results as they play out for themselves, 13-5. And really, I think what boils down in this game from what I saw was, yes, you had some heroic moments from, like the likes of Valen. You had some decent moments from Jonah P. Leaf even had some moments there. But that's really what it was, Mel. It was just a collection of moments from G2 scrambling by to try and find success anywhere they could. C9 had a plan of attack, and they played it to perfection, excuse me.
And I also want to highlight for Cloud9 that we always talk about the Oxy, like superstar effect, take over. But actually, I want to highlight the fact that there was actually a very even scoreboard. We were expecting the Reina to be like dropping 30.
Yeah.
Really even 14-14 scoreline, and Rudy's actually MVP for Cloud9. So it really was like a team effort. I do feel like there was little misses from G2 on some of the rounds. There were rounds where people are like solo peeking. There's like util set up for everyone to swing together, but I don't know. I feel like it was actually a good team win from Cloud9.
Yeah, for sure. But the thing is, though, is that this does kind of bring back a narrative, if you will, Mel, of C9, not being the best when it comes to the first map, as you can see. This is down. So that's not a disagree. You're just, it's just down.
So sad.
The stocks are low. But now C9 wins map 2. Might need to flip it around. Wait a minute. There you go. That's right. Exactly. C9, they get a thumbs up on map 2, but can they get a thumbs up on map 3?
It'll be tough. The last time they played this, it was against G2, and they lost. It was not particularly close either. It was 13-6.
I don't remember what C9 runs on Lotus again, but
you know what? It doesn't matter.
They were running.
I guarantee there's going to be some wild stuff coming out.
I hope.
The Bala guarantee is happening right here.
The Bala guarantee.
Wild stuff coming through.
I want to see Oxy on Neon right now on this map. Yeah, I absolutely want to. They have not so far shown that they've mixed things up very much in the downtime while the other teams like G2 were at Shanghai. I'm hoping to see that right now.
Because I literally was like, no, he ran Neon game 1. No, he didn't run it on map 1. Actually, it was Icy who did it instead. And we're not really going to get, much in the way of changes here. I mean, I've seen these compositions many times in the past.
Where's the eyebrow? Like,
do we sleep or are we awake?
I'm sleeping, but it's a good comp.
It is. It is a good comp.
It's the meta comp for a reason.
This is why I don't sleep right here.
And you sleep.
No, I
sleep. The Viper on Lotus, you know what's interesting? In NACL, not a single team plays Viper on Lotus. It's only really tier 1 teams. This is interesting.
Hey, well, we're about to find out why. Let's see if this pans out for G2. It's time to jump in to map number 3. Is C9 going to close this out and get their revenge? Let's find out. Send it back over to Brennan and Sideshow.
It all ends here on Lotus. And yeah, I mean, going for the agent select, nothing too out of the ordinary. I mean, we were treated, I think, yesterday with just complete insanity. Complete insanity in terms of the competitions as well. Mel making an interesting point as well, that Viper return and face here on Lotus, which is pretty rare. A lot of teams are kind of drifting away from it, actually, at this point in the meta, after the nerfs that she's had. But we'll see how this ends up playing out. It's still a good comp to be played from both of these teams.
Well, it is a bit unusual from C9, the addition of the breach in particular, I mean, moving away from the Viper and getting that double initiator online is not standard. So I think that's mostly where my eyes are drawn to. Have C9 cooked stuff up, right? Do they actually have some good ideas? Because I think that's what's defined at least the map too, at least Icebox.
Heavy presence here by Cloud9 out towards C-Mound. Giving it up for Moose though. I mean, G2, we know the style of this team, how they like to play. Chances, Moose almost punished. Way out of the real chance of him potentially getting picked off, but once more they just group up, hold the space. They're gonna make sure that they put Leaf into that 4 position over towards Mound. Potentially not give it up on Jonah P. That is a nasty one.
Yeah, that's great. And now there's nobody home over towards the A side. Not sure the G2 will know that for sure, but just the fact that Zeppa was jiggling like that might give them some indication that there's only max 1 player left. C9 really thought that this was a re-hit over towards C, and now they're starting to scramble. But we can see that it's ending B as well. So C9, the defensive rotation's getting pulled all over the place very early on because of Valent's calling.
30 seconds left.
Clearance into the corner there with a trip broken 2. Paranoia, not wasting any time with it. It's already sent flying by Vanity. Gonna have to use their satchels to try and push them back and away, but the call is made by Cloud9. They have swarmed straight over the position. Oxy. He's definitely done enough here with 3 kills into the round. Time is running short for him. It's a weird situation. The nade rebounds, but it's only going to be preventing Jonah P from really pushing forwards. Who is going to be finally getting this plant down? Hold. Jonah P just needs to land this one. Just walked it out entirely. And there is the face. Adjustment in the aim by Icy.
Why has Oxy thrown his nade before they tap? He could have used that. There was like 10 seconds left on the time. He could have used that to deny the plant, surely. That was a bizarre one. I was just about to say, Oxy's done such a great job at getting a second nade online here. He can win this round. And then it just kind of gifted them an opportunity to get a free plant out. I think we're going to see this a lot, though. C9 flood defend into B. It was what they, in my opinion, were the best at on Lotus, was putting pressure onto the B plant and then execing straight into the retake.
Yeah.
And Oxy is the biggest reason for that, because he's fearless. This time, though, doesn't quite work out. And C9 lose another pistol. So only the single pistol won for Cloud9.
G2 just aiming to sniff out if Cloud9 are stacked with any bodies. We can see that they are.
Yeah.
Whole team.
And it's a fairly common setup, you know, to run. Like, you have your 4 players on one side of the map. You have your 1 player on the other. And then you're just going to have Leaf kind of walk closer and closer over towards the C site. And if Leaf doesn't see anything, then you can go back to him. And if he gets punished, that's fine. Then you know where the stack is and you can commit over towards A. And the key here being that Leaf is one of these players without a weapon. So if he does go down, taking the slightly more aggressive lurk play, you're not really losing anything. You're not giving a weapon over to your opponent.
So all well and good, Josh, but I sleep.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
I sleep when the team makes the optimal decision and stacks the side on the eco.
Well, and I think that's one of the big reasons why G2's underrated, is because people sleep when optimal Valorant is played. People love Oxy pick Reyna, run at them. You know, so it's just the way that G2 like to play. They've got a fundamental understanding of the game.
Yeah.
And I think it's all come kind of top down from the way that Josh RT has been coaching Valen and the way that Valen thinks about it.
Leaf caught with a stun there, but didn't hand over a weapon.
Exactly. It's not the biggest deal in the world. C9 are going to be able to go down to Spike. Now that should be.
As he's sticking.
All good.
All good.
All good.
All good.
So that's the reason that you plant in that spot, is that when you're stood on top of Mound, you have a headshot angle. But,
or use a gun, whichever.
Squeaky bum time.
Did get close. Leaf with the Outlaw purchase. A little bit
Now
of a preview.
there's a classic we haven't seen too much of.
And
So
honestly, rife for punishment. The amount of teams that have just been really stretching the economy, going for half armor purchases. It's been a lot of them so far in Americas. You're seeing 2 online right there. Could have tempted the circle.
Fantastic circle.
You want to give it another go?
Stay focused.
No.
It's live as 3 actually now. Oh no, 2.
No, still 2, but different players.
Okay. Wallbang angles though being spammed out. Not too much more damage being applied. Valen, he's forwards now with the horn. Tension was diverted away from this one. Oxy tries to stand his ground, only with the trade eventually falling. And Rooney's going to be spotted from that Prowler. He needs to use some util to try and get himself out of there, but there's no punish from G2. They weren't really eager for the engagement.
You'd think the C9 should be favored in these kind of rubble fights, considering that they have the breach, but not quite working out for them there. That's a lot of damage, though. Huge damage onto Moose and Rooney.
I mean, just carved his way right through them, but no kill to be found. Still on a single digits of HP on either side of them. Trent. Door open now, Prowler. Maybe it can pave the way over towards this A side. Haunt will clear, at least for the back. Pit still needs to be watched just in case. Good heads up by Trent. Just playing out of the calm position with the plant. Make sure he doesn't get caught by that aftershock.
And Leaf will have been screaming in the comms the damage numbers that he did.
Oh yeah. 3v3, very winnable right now for G2.
All super grouped up though, and Vanity still has a paranoia.
He's gonna be holding for it.
Satchel out.
Still here, Satchel. Sent out flying forwards, very early. Paranoia's there, gliding, walking through, spam into it, in through the smoke. Vanity cleared up though, still Moose sticking now and a few bullets. It's all it takes. Spraying them all down, Rooney realizing it now. Didn't get the half onto the diffuser, just got to get a bit of a move on and running the hell out of there. Keep the rifle into the next, but a bonus round. There's one out by G2 here. These ults are coming online very quickly. That snowball potential. We're going back into the old Hood classic.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that this G2 composition excels at, is getting that snowball online. And if they're going to win the rubble fights on top of all of that, then they could easily run away with the attack half.
One enemy remaining.
This is a rough beginning for Cloud9. And Imi frustrated. It's another pistol and another bonus that they've given up. So similar to what went wrong for them on Ascent.
Yeah, the stress settling in.
Yeah. He had hair at the start of this game.
For G2, again, Jonah P. A bit dangerous. Rooney, he spots that, surely, sees it. He can't quite take the fight, at least without dropping down. He's making a lot of noise. Jonah P even hear this one. Dizzy, pre-aimed and fired forwards. Now with a showstopper, Oxy wants to send this! Bloody hell, Icy. Good movement there with a satchel.
Nice seize as well from Trent, making sure that Oxy couldn't get any further forwards. I think it might be time for Rooney to give the rifle over to Oxy. They're going to try to force this one into Jonah P.
It's a bit of a disaster round so far for Cloud9. They've got to try and convert this in some way or form. If they're going to be expending ults, but already losing these players. Jonah P.
Vanity's going to have a try at it.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. The strongest rifler.
Trip, punish through the wall. Seppa. At least through main, actually. Stand corrected. Out through the smokes once more. That's a deep push by Leaf. And being punished.
30 seconds
It's Vanity. Just the one for the trade. 27 seconds left. Spike still needs to go down here. And they're scared of the util. Flying forwards now with a mosh and a nade. Seeking to deny this one with only 20 seconds left. There's definite opportunities, but a Dizzy. It's going to be aimed. Snap 2. Broken. No flash there for them. 13 seconds, still needs to be held, and it's a spammable angle. Moves at 1, follow through, and there's the win in sight eventually. Cloud9 doing enough to stall that one out into a favorable position overall in the round. They needed to win that. You're expending the showstopper in that fashion.
Absolutely. That's a huge one to get Cloud9 back into it. All of the frustration that was on Emi's face, I think he'll be super happy about this one. The opening parts of the round didn't look great. But Vanity managed to find his way in here, throw a nice smoke. And then Cloud9 went for another one of those flood defenses that were working really nicely on Ascent. We've already seen one almost work on B. Doing a good job, and Cloud9 using the time effectively against G2.
Pre-fire almost took Jonah P out.
Yeah, I think Jonah's going to find it difficult to stay alive in some of these spots if he's going to be perma-lurking. C9 want to force the action. You kind of have to when you run in the double initiator. It's either that or trap plays or retakes. Kind of pick your poison between the three.
Yeah. Really giving up the AWP though. Cloud9 not willing to contest over towards C-Mound, so Icy now one away from the ult. don't believe the orb is still going to be up over towards A, and Cloud9 still have control of Rubble anyway. It's doubled up. Oxy and Zeppa could do some serious damage. How did G2 clear this? Many ways to do so. Wall up, probably going to be dropping it down alongside the Haunt as well. Zeppa's trying to get in front of this one here. It's blinded though. Paranoid, I believe, and just doesn't know which timing to take here. Oxy still hard committed in with 6 bullets left. Once more stands his ground, looking for the challenge, but nobody's going to be meeting him. G2, fast move now, wrap around across the world, make their way over towards C, but it hasn't been
30 seconds left.
At least left from the side. Valen trying to make some noise up through B. Has pulled a few players. In fact, Moosey left the position where he was hard anchored. Now still going to be trying to meet them. Doors open wide. Not going to be met. And everybody falls.
A nice try there from Vanity, scrambling through, making it feel like it's a pivot to B. But C9, they read the scenario. And I actually really like that setup. I love Zeppa's positioning. I know that he didn't really get too much out of it, but he's close enough that the paranoia doesn't do anything. And he's also just perfectly pre-aiming in case people swing through the wall, or when the wall drops, he's looking towards root. It's a nice setup between Oxy and Zeppa there. And Oxy, as usual, he's good for it. He's 8-2, top of the scoreboard right now. Popping off, bringing the vibes up. And he's got C9 back into things. Not opting for the rubble fight anymore, Cloud9.
No, but it's my pay G2 win. Don't have money. I'd be willing to take those risks. Valen is so far ahead. It's dropped almost immediately. Rooney back with the reposition.
I think they're gambling there that it's probably the Cypher setup over towards A.
And a double hold, Oxy!
I mean, is that one even intentional?
Firing range, man.
For a lot of players, I'd say that they got lucky, but for Oxy, it may have just been too clean ADS.
We'll find out, man, on the replay, I think.
Yeah. They are still giving it to Leaf. they are still giving it to Leaf every time they take him out. No mercy being shown for the former teammate.
Yeah, it's a great recovery.
Most didn't even play with him. You don't know him like that.
Yeah, he's just joining in on the fun. G2 with a timeout. Important time for it, I think, as well, when Cloud9 have started to
Oh, it was.
find their footing. It's just disgusting.
It was a lovely
Was it ever in doubt?
reset.
Was it ever in doubt with Oxy?
He's so sharp with it.
Yeah.
11-2. Tearing him up on the defense.
So G2 calling that timeout. It's a very important one, actually, coming up.
Yeah, this is where G2 get all of their big ults online. They've got the Showstopper, they've got Nightfall, 2 massive ults to get onto site somewhere, and then a pit to try to close things out. C9, normally the best thing to do against a massive ult cycle like that is to try to force fights aggressively and deny them from even getting into the space to use those ults. So, I don't know whether C9 have it necessarily in their strat book, but going for something like 3 players pushing mound, 2 players pushing out B main, like that kind of crunch where you go deep into spawn off the back of stuns and flashes, could be a really nice time to bring out a set play like that.
Like you said, with the sole goal of just trying to pull out some of the big ultimates that G2 have got. They're going to be using this timeout, you know, to discuss the plan.
Well, they're certainly not going to do something aggressive off barrier. They're really far away right now. So if you're not going to go for something aggro and try and catch them before the ults are in play, you almost need to bait them out and then play retake and have that utility at least advantage. See if there's any success there on the side of Cloud9. Again, seeding Rubble very quickly to G2.
Yeah, Odin in the hands of Jonah P. Make sure that nobody can really contest that.
Cover going out.
Toxin screen down.
Oxy's going to be the sole holder of the rotating door. Really can't really, you know, cross up and help him out, but...
I mean, what is Oxy's game plan there? He's so close to the door. I think he's just trying to take the timing through it.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I kind of hope he gets challenged because I want to see what kind of nutty idea he's got in his head.
Vanity just about dodging it with a jump spot. Sees that it's at least part of the committal. Still wants to get inside the smoke as well, just in case, not giving up the space just yet.
And I like the way that Valen calls in these spots because he always leaves a player like Jonah here so that they have options later on in the round. They could try to end B. They can always go back over to Jonah P if they need to. And again, I'm really hoping that we end towards A because I want to see how Oxy is thinking he can outplay this.
Oxy is going to be pressured here as soon as that door is opened wide. It's not even like I can get a one-way smoke set up by Vanity. He's on the other side of the map now, so Oxy is essentially alone, and no way. No way.
Oh, he's done it.
He's just taking the timing against him. Oh, not enough for the reset. Trent, quick 180. Showstopper still alive here. Pre-fired into the corner just in case someone was holding close. Plant down and committed. Extension now. In for round 7. 4 versus 4 in a forward position of G2. Really trying to hold this one close. Icy, he's taken out. Aftershock, press forwards. Miles away is Leaf in terms of the position on the wraparound already, and it's going to leave it down to Val, and he needs to deny and buy some time. Neuro theft. It really does to spoil the party. All for Leaf into this spot. Should have been a timing that he could have taken. Rooney with a defuse. Already up to half, and it's covered with moves all the way.
The ult and the 2K close things out for the Cypher on Cloud9. That's a massive round for C9 to put on the board. This map trends attack-sided anyway, but I think teams have got so much better at playing it on the defense. Look at this. It's so nice. When Jonah P goes down in that spot, yes, Oxy doesn't get the second, which he probably should have done because he made the correct decisions. But Jonah P had the pit that would have been a massive post-plant addition to the way that they played this round. And then Leaf off miles away. 1 and 7, bottom of the scoreboard as well. Struggling to find his impact. Wyatt was talking about it on the desk. He's been amazing for them generally this year. Putting up 0.9 KPR in a lot of his moments on Killjoy, but he's not finding it right now.
No, struggling.
And against his former team.
There's real opportunities as well for Oxy to clean up. Now, there's not going to be any players beating him, but with I see the Outlaw being bought. I see full half armor from G2. Starting to get worried. Cloud9 still going to be stacking this one with the appropriate amount of players. Running out through the back of the side. It's going to have some util now to try and slow them down here, but a lockdown will have to be respected unless they have some anything to break it.
In theory, maybe it could be like Aftershock Mosh, but they don't have a setup like that. So this is just going to get full value. C9 with the retake.
Giving up, and that's fast by Cloud9. I mean, Rapid already using that paranoia, but with the pit placed down, sitting pretty.
This is going to get messy.
Gives him that cover and fire, and it's going to get very messy. Dizzy clears one way of things, and the spike isn't planted, and the wraparound occurring. That is Oxy off onto the flank. Not being watched by Leaf here, but again, there's so many opportunities for this to go this way, that way, any sort of direction.
30 seconds left.
It's on a coin flip almost. Showstopper now. Let loose into the hands of Oxy. Can he find anything? Players forwards now! And a direct hit will drop him. Still, bullets landing. Oxy left to do it all. In a 1v2 and a half armor might make that difference. Nade rebounds. Still with a plant down. Shorty in hand. Upgrades available. It's rampant across the board, but he knows the damage has been done anyway. The Icy skip and a hop over the top. Just did not spot. Icy round and round we go with a timing. Oxy who finds it.
So much pressure in that situation. They barely got the plant down. And Oxy's favored in that kind of situation because he just has such great info about where everybody is. Icy's stuck just trying to put the spike in the ground. Putting down that pit before the spike goes down, and instantly C9 applying pressure. Beautiful decision as well to take out the shorty towards the end. Talk it.
Yeah, Oxy is such a joy to watch, man.
This is now 5 rounds in a row for Cloud9. It looked like they were getting outplayed at the beginning of this map, and one thrifty round in round 4 completely changed.
Turn the tide a bit. The nade. Balan's been pushed out wide, still only at the stinger, so just able to get the one. They want to pivot into B. Just as the hop-up happened, it could have been unfortunate timing. Still, it's Vanity who claims it. The 2 drop down. You're right, Josh, at this point. Almost inevitable. Cloud9 have a chokehold on the map.
It's looking fantastic. C9 have dealt with the way that G2 are attacking. They've dealt with the ult cycle. They've managed to apply massive amounts of pressure on these flood defenses. They're going for retakes before the spike is even planted. And G2 are just not ready. G2 are the kind of team that really love to play things to perfection if you give them enough time to set it up. They like to play the slower attack sides. They like everybody placed in optimal positions. And when you push them, when you pressure them, they can't get into those spots. And that's where C9 driving the wedge into those cracks.
That is committed by Vanity. Way out in the open there, just trying to take that fight, but with him dropping Leaf now, again, the options are removed from G2.
They are bullying Leaf. A play like that, it's aggressive from Leaf. I think he's relying on his skill, which usually is great for him. But today, he just can't find it. And the C9 players are dominant.
Firing. Slight peek by Trent.
Grenade!
Was connected onto the backside player. Trouble is, can you get the plant down still? I believe it's a kill trip set up by Moose. Slide across, but it's going to be spotted out. Rolling Thunder, though. Not going to be allowing them to get that easy plant down. Full connection now, Aftershock. Offloaded with it. Flashes. Crossing the way. This is going to be pre-fight, though. No one can be caught by it, and G2 make the call to just try and stand and deliver. The fight is taken. Showstopper rocket denied. No round win for them. Another ult expended and wasted, but G2, all the resources just running out for them.
Everything is going perfectly for Cloud9 here. And all of it turned on a Thrifty right at the beginning. Desperation time for G2. Looking like they want to force into this one with light armor across the board. They really thought that this one was winnable. And I think it could have been. Icy had a chance there at getting things down into a 1v1. These early fights are going so well for Cloud9. Vanity's going to try to take another.
That is brave.
That is so bold. I don't think Vanity would do that, except that they've won 7 rounds in a row.
So a little bit of sloppiness will get G2 back in. Forwards, you can hear many footsteps. Leaf is going to be worried about this one, a spot that he has been known to play in before, and now, finally, makes his mark on the server with 2 dropping. Or he's finally picked up. Rooney's left alone now, opens up the door wide, but he does have to worry about a multitude of positions. At his back as well, Jonah P, just a bit of patience there. Would have worked out either way, still. Moose popped up onto the half wall. And now tethered into place. That is a 4th round for G2. Maybe just one more on the board. You can see a possibility in a world that they can bring this back despite the dominance that we've seen of Cloud9.
If they're able to get this back to a 7-5 half and, you know, win both pistols again, then yeah. And at that point, Cloud9, I think, will feel cheated because they are in control, playing phenomenally map 2 and map 3. If they let it slip based on pistol rounds, they're going to be kicking themselves. C9 would love another here just to make sure that even if G2 get a pistol, they're still with a fairly sizable lead in the next half. Oxy's got an ult here that's fantastic to use. Thrash on Zephyr. So many tools at their disposal. Again, Vanity, though, taking a really aggro position. He's got the operator on a crack, hoping that Leaf will just run into this. Pure mind games. Maybe reading into the fact that he's got a good understanding of how his former teammate plays, and the fact that Leaf is trending more aggressive. Oh, he's come off the angle to throw a smoke.
In the danger zone for this one. But still lands the shot.
Oh, he's inside his head.
Yeah.
It's just brutal out there for Leaf.
Dropped. No trade inside there from Jonah P. First kill advantage for Cloud9. It's got to be full, I mean, through the roof, surely. Winning a lot of these opening engagements.
It definitely feels like it.
And Oxy, the perfect tool for the job as soon as the door's opened wide. Oh, that's comical! Icy thought he could outplay it, but it's just waited out still with the trade, but a util in your hand, caught unaware.
That's such impeccable patience there from Oxy. What goes up must come down.
Jonah knows. No contact there off the trip as soon as it's broken. Regrouping together, but this is Cloud9. 4 players left alive versus the 2 of G2.
There is still a chance in this round if Moose or Vanity decide to contest the plant and go down.
10 seconds left.
But if they play it safe and group up together, huge amounts of utility still left from both initiators.
Yeah.
Everything's online.
On with the flash. So the paranoia sends it off early here. You can hear that thrash coming forwards. Jonah P seeks to take a timing right through, and it doubled back. Great game sense there by Zephyr. Entertainment here for Jonah P, and there's no chance, no shot, no world. No world at all.
Another knife kill. Disrespectful. 8-4 at the half, C9 in control. 3 of those rounds that G2 got were pistol and then a bonus.
Yeah.
But they failed to convert, and suddenly the tide of the game went rapidly in C9's favor. And Oxy's done an amazing job, by the way, defending this door. It's a really unusual way of playing the Raze on this map. Not a common spot for Razes to be playing. Usually that's the Viper or the Killjoy or something like that. And he's just been immaculate with it. Ring around the Rosie in one of the rounds, pops the ult in this one. Looking great.
It's been lovely work overall. Let's send it down to the desk to break it down.
And you know, I felt like G2 were starting off quite well, and then Cloud9, Wyatt, just completely took over that half.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, maybe if we were seeing some of the new crazy comps, different agents, we'll see that Lotus won't be as attacker-sided favored. But with these kind of classic comps, Cloud9 surely have done more than enough already, getting 9 rounds on defense.
Yeah, it's actually a great point. I forgot that, you know, with the way that these maps have played out with the compositions and whatnot, this certainly does look fantastic for Cloud9 going into the second half here. And you're seeing, honestly, Bala, some great coordination here from Oxy, but also Moose has also been popping off too.
Yeah, that round is absurd. This one is too. I mean, a 1v2 with an outlaw stuck on site, recognizing that the Icy was low HP and just pulling out the shorty and making it count. Moose had great rounds. You're talking about that. Oxy's 13 and 5 right now. First kills to first deaths. He's playing phenomenally over the entire series, and carrying it through to Lotus is really important.
Yeah, and I do like as well, I mean, Brennan Sideshow was talking about it, Mel. You're seeing a different way that Oxy is approaching this map with the Raze, being a bit more, you know, kind of like holding his ground a bit more in certain areas of the map.
I think holding his ground, but also I don't think I've seen him like over pushing like crazy and feel like he has to overcompensate.
Yeah.
And I feel like as well in the late rounds, his flanks have been good. I think the clutches as well from him have been good, like the 1v1 with Oxy, 1 HP. And Moose as well. I think even as a team, when these rounds get really chaotic in the late round, when there's a Viper ult on site, things always just end up going in Cloud9's favor. I'm not sure if that's a miss from G2 or maybe more so just Cloud9 capitalizing.
Yeah, just a reminder that the last time, these two teams played on this map, it was G2 that beat Cloud9 13-6. And recently, G2 have only lost to some of the best teams in the world on this map, Heretics and Gen G.
Oh, that is good context to remember as we get into the second half. Send it back over to Brendan Sideshow.
And just to build off what Wyatt was saying, you know, it is a good map for G2. Part of the reason they won versus Cloud9 last time around when these two teams played on this map, you know, was that they were able to just bait and isolate Oxy a lot of the time for those fights, playing together, a lot of high-low setups, and it was their defensive half that they were doing most of that.
Yeah. But I think Oxy's letting the game come to him a little more. That's what Mel was talking about.
Yeah.
He's not overextending, looking for the fights, but he might be forced to do it a bit more now that the sides have swapped and he's on attack.
Oh, nice one.
Great prediction there as well, that Vanity would look to seek refuge inside the smoke.
Maybe what they were looking for here, Aftershock. Plays up to that corner, throwing it up, vulnerability, slowed down by the turrets. Bullet tagged up. I mean, there's just a lack of, I don't know, foresight in terms of thinking about how they wanted to really approach this one. It was brute force to try and get through to choke point. And brute force does not work out. G2 flawless with the pistol round win.
And almost flawless in the series. 5-1 when it comes to pistol rounds won in G2's favor. I said earlier, if G2 end up winning this series based on, broadly speaking, that stat, C9 will be kicking themselves. Oh, Vanity didn't even manage to get inside the smoke. I missed that. I thought that was a prediction, but he's lit up like a Christmas tree. We were having a conversation earlier on the desk about, are G2 the best team in Americas? I don't think there is a best team in Americas right now, at least conclusively. But it's making for some very close games. It looks like we've still got a chance.
Balin, touch close, reposition out of TP, should be pre-aimed, but again it's being covered. Leaf is there over the shoulder. Take to the VIP. Finally, pesky turret dealt with.
But in a 3v5 post-plant, shouldn't really be winnable.
No, it shouldn't be.
Maybe if they had upgraded a bunch of guns, but...
Yeah,
that's ambitious.
Yeah, it's just Moose going for it there. Vanity obviously stinger in hand. So anyone looking to make sure that they can do anything, but the crossfires, they're impeccable. So really covering the appropriate angles and positions.
You might think that a double initiator composition is going to trend attack-sided because you have huge amounts of utility to get into sites with. But actually, I think that it's going to end up being a little opposite for Cloud9. what we saw is that this composition worked really nicely for their flood defending style. They had huge amounts of utility to flood in and put pressure onto the spike plants, and it worked for their defense. But when they're on attack now, they're going to be having to go through nanoswarms, vulnerables being thrown out from that snakebite from Jonah P. If they just try to do big burst execs, G2 are going to have some great utility to deal with that. So C9 are going to have to play a little more slowly and draw that out, and they don't have the Viper to play slow.
Pretty clear orchestrated takedown with a Rubble, Cloud9. Somehow, I mean, Zeppa's ended up with a judge heading into this round for G2's bonus.
Does Moose get caught?
Oh, footsteps.
They're going
Silent jumper by Moose. Places the trip though and pulls it back. I think that's going to be her potentially. Moose is low enough here. Low enough indeed that it's a spray and pray. Fading away. Trent now with the Prowler.
And that paranoia.
I've got them really just collected up into this tight position. I mean, everything is obvious right now from Cloud9. The position is everywhere.
It's going to be another bonus.
Swampy, man, a bonus round win. They can't be stopped. Jonah P and Icy. They combine their might in the end. A flawless bonus round conversion. I mean, this isn't... It's not even like you did any damage at all to it. They're going to be upgrades abound now for G2. All momentum on their side.
If there was any way of losing this match, I think C9 have just found it. The loss in the pistol and the loss on the bonus, it's so similar to Ascent. Amy's going to be kicking himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, brutal one. He's already hit the panic button. They've gone for a tactical timeout.
The exact same as Ascent.
Yeah.
As you lose the pistol, lose the bonus, immediately you hit the timeout button.
Yeah. Ideally here, C9 will be able to pull off a thrifty like they did in the first half, but I don't think there's any guarantees that that's going to happen. It did require a big thrifty round to suddenly turn the momentum when C9 were playing on the defense. But like I said, I really feel like this double initiator worked beautifully for them when they had the advantage in the late round to flood defend. But when all utility is even across the board and you're trying to get into a site, you're still going to struggle to get in on Lotus through these small choke points. You saw the way that Valen was calling on the attack. It was slow-paced. He was trying to push and pull the defenders. Did they have a lot of success? No, not really. But there were moments to try to get in, and that is the more standard way of playing Lotus. I think this is going to require a little bit of nuance here for Vanity's calling.
It is, yeah. Can't go all in, really, into these sites. Not when the composition that G2's playing. We've seen it enough at this point.
Yeah.
We all know how it works, but they do have an abundance of util just to delay and deny anybody from even taking any space.
Yeah, you can try to when you have ults online. I mean, when you have Showstopper, Rolling Thunder, the Thrash maybe, those ults can try to get you through a choke point. Here, I think you really want that one up on Zeppa, so Oxy's going to leave it to him. Doors being opened on both sides of the map. C9 up for the attackers, clearing out Mound, clearing out B. On the other side, G2 making sure that they've got good information on Rubble and nobody's been left inserted.
G2 have a very, very good idea where these players could be. And look at these stray shots from Trent. I mean, popping them off. Dizzy will finally push him back, but it's all util that has to be committed just to clear out this space. It's a fault line and a nade. Right, he's already vacuumed up that orb, so that's not going to be given to them. Easy access. They're just being chipped down this entire time. Penalty on A health. Oxy 52. Door opened up with 38 seconds left. What is the call and what is the decision?
I don't really see a game plan here. Cloud9 might be forced to just run into A. They can combo a Flash Dizzy and hope that that catches Trent. Pivot through B.
Yeah, looks like it's been called now with the door broken up and wide. There's going to be the Nana Swarms. And again, look at that. It's a molly that just delays them. Vulnerability, they can't really commit past it. Oxy will just glide over now, using that satchel to try and get themselves in, but the Nana Swarms are just being deaded. And the plan, it's going to be close, tucked to the corner. Mosh pit here in. Valen has to try and evade it. A lot of damage done to him just from that alone. Maybe there's a chance here. Get themselves in, but again, the weapons are not looking good, and everybody's pushed up just into that lower section, playing under hell. Nade rebound, that is going to be huge. Pushing them forwards and about. They can't stand their ground to take these fights. And the aim's all over the place right now. Moose, left alone in that 1v4. cheeky one, really, just for the end, but overall, G2.
I mean, I'd love to see a situation like that when there's rifles on board, because I think that C9 would have a good chance of being able to win. G2, they only really had the nade to go for that retake. They'd already used Paranoia, they didn't have Haunts or really Prowlers to work with. They didn't have a huge amount of tools, but they did send it off the back of the nade and all swing together, so the coordination was there. And because C9 have not been winning rounds and getting kills and getting plants, they're slow to get these ultimates online as well.
Barely building them up.
Yeah, the Thrash, the first. That one's normally rapid. You almost have that instantly if you win the pistol. And you saw how difficult that snakebite was to navigate. I think they're going to be running into a similar stuff here. It's a really classic defense setup for Jonah P and Leaf.
Icy can play hyper committed over towards the B main choke. He still has that showstopper there. As soon as he hears any sound, and Util being used against him, he can just let rip the ult.
He might just ult off turret contact.
Yeah.
It would be bold without a second player there.
Flash, here we go. Yeah. Sees it and does not nail it. I mean, listen, damage done certainly, but robbed of the kills and the chance and the opportunity. Smoke just to get him out of there. Few bullets, barely alive. Wants to go for another swing of things. That was a season and A trying to be comboed up just in case, but it misses wide.
What a timing on that from Jonah. Great read that they were about to commit. 40 seconds though, and now there's no snakebite over on C, but there are 3 players stacked up. Ready, waiting, and double nanoswarm setup still.
And the read by Valen. Perfect.
30 seconds left.
Cloud9 try and get themselves in. No one is pre-aiming a Haunt. Nanoswarm is in front of you. Chopped to pieces if you try and enter.
That's from B. That's filthy.
And what is that lineup?
That's lovely stuff from Trent. I mean, you are not ready to break that.
No.
10 seconds
when you're
left.
focused on getting in through the choke. The timing on this utility, the snakebite from Jonah and the Haunt from Trent, is immaculate.
Yeah.
And it feels so similar to some of G2's games at Shanghai, where they don't look like they're really in control of Lotus, but they're making it work and they're getting the wins.
That's the thing. It's almost deceiving, you know, because you look at the scoreboard and it's an even spread. There's no heavy dominance from one player, like, you know, you see Oxy and Cloud9 top of the scoreboard now, but I don't know, they make it look easy. It's just a team play.
Yeah, I will say though, Leaf is finding his moments a lot more on the defense side now. Take a look at this. There's the Haunt, goes over the top. Quite similar to the one that you throw at the start of the round over on A.
That seems hard to nail, I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, the pros are good at hitting those lineups.
Yeah, just with the timings here. Flash in the face of Icy, though. Haunt not broken again. They know that there's that hard committal from Oxy out towards Rubble. He's satcheled above and around the nade, so he's actually on top of it, but no casualties. Barely many rifles to work with here for Cloud9. They still want to try and brute force and power their way through.
They have forced in this round, and all of that pressure has allowed Leaf to push up on the other side of the map. He does sometimes get punished for going for this, but in this particular round, he's getting excellent information for his team, as is Jonah P.
He's be calling for it, and that's why G2 can afford to stack this one. The Thrash gives up a lot of space here for Cloud9 to get themselves in. G2, are you ready for this one?
The spike could go down.
Leaf is so fast. What is that? Enough reset for it. And look at the spray down, the transfer itself. Wonderful control. Prowler sent flying bullets alongside it. G2. A 2-round lead. And it doesn't feel like it's stopping. Not anytime soon. Look at the amount of rounds they've got in a row.
And look at the scoreboard and where Leaf is at. He was trailing at the bottom, started out 1-7, and now he's recovered in this half. I think he only had something like 3 kills in the entirety of the first half here on Lotus. And now, on defense, finding moments to be aggressive, finding flank timings, winning rounds for them. 12-12. He has skyrocketed up the scoreboard, finding his moments to create impact for the team.
Yeah.
That is what you need to see. And yeah, he has been clean, but he hasn't really found the moments to be able to get involved on the attack. I can't quite remember how many kills he had to end the defense side, but I think it might have even been...
Don't ask me.
I think it was really, really close to the amount that he's currently got.
Can't recall, but
I think he ended with maybe something like 12 kills, and he's on 17 now.
Yeah,
I guess, to be honest, that's not bad.
And G2's defensive half itself on this map is just... They're too good at it. It feels like a very different way of winning, though. Last time they played against Cloud9, there's a lot of just, you know, the push and pull, baiting them into unfavorable fights. This time, G2 have a really firm grasp in terms of the macro. They always have util for the right answer.
Yeah.
Vanity is calling in terms of just expecting where these position are of the... You know, just trying to lead his team. It's Valen who's always just got the heads up. It feels like one step ahead.
Yeah, Leaf, he's had 8 kills across these 6 rounds of defense.
Time to show up then. Icy once more. Here with a paranoia. Vanity does reveal his position with that one. We're sent flying. Icy will have to give up that space and respect it. A little bit too much to overcome and fight. Trends as well. The doors open wide. Prowler dropped at his feet, still dropped down to the back of the side. He is wide out in position. You still want to try and take this one. A seize to delay. No connections. Cloud9 not willing to really slow this down. With now an ult earned. Oxy, Rocket there. Kill still found. Up and around. Moose. Getting cheeky with it. Just trying to go for the jump spot. Why not? Go for it. Cloud9. Will they finally get themselves onto the board in a 2v4 here? 2v3. G2 lockdown. It's now going to be committed. Still willing the resource into this fight. And what have they got to try and destroy this one? It's going to be the fault line. The mosh pit doesn't quite break it. Not enough damage. Zeppa, full run around and entertainment from 2. One player left to stand out through the back. And he can just stick this one all the way. Half on it. Why not wait it out? And that was the best chance that Cloud9 had in a long while.
And G2 still found their way to come around behind and Leaf again with the ultimate getting outrageous value. C9 did not know whether they wanted to fight that, whether they wanted to punish the lockdown. It looked like Oxy was trying to find a timing, he just couldn't quite. And just to correct myself, as what I was talking about with Oxy before, he ended the first half on 17 kills. He currently has 18. That was the only kill he's got on the attack side. I mean, talk about G2 stopping a superstar player from getting value on one half of the map.
Yeah, they've done it again.
That is exactly what defined the last time that these two teams matched up. And the only attack side where Oxy's been able to do anything, he was playing Reyna.
Where's the difference maker? Season 8, just out of the radius. We're getting that kill. G2's game plan, happy to give up the front section of A with this rebel control. Someone's got to change over Cloud9.
I think one of the problems too is with the double initiator composition, C9 are playing as a blob a lot. This time they insert Vanity over towards Rubble. G2 have gone for reclear strats over towards Rubble, but only I think once. It looks like they might be going for it again. If the Prowler finds anything, it did not. Vanity is safe.
Look at the layers to it.
Oh. Vanity just got caught by the haunt, though, I think, over towards A, and now he's being hunted.
Down. Might have to commit some util at least. No. Thinks twice about it. In through B, though. Moose got that ground. Still, look at that double face. It's rapid.
They're hunting the
answer back is there, yeah. Making sure that they can't cause any sort of unfortunate issues. Later down into the line here, over towards the A site. So Cloud9 wants to go. There's an open site, but G2 are rapidly once more there, waiting. Flood attempt. Might be on the cards. They've already dropped down, doubled up into pit. There is an aftershock. We'll push them forwards. Oxy up and above the ropes. He wasn't set up for an easy fight there. Zeppa has to stick to plan. He was out of the fight while that was occurring, and still, how did Cloud9 hold on? They've lost control of the site. The positioning is no longer there. It's fault line. Seeking to redeem themselves. Horns over the top, and Rooney leaves with the damage, and that flank attempt wrapping around Vanity. It's his job to contain. Finds it. One to the dome, enough to shut down Jonah P, and now 2 left to stand here for G2. Maybe it's doable once more. Vanity already with a spot revealed. Rooney toppled. Vanity, it's his own making. The smoke toppled into his face just so he can get that free line of sight with the spam down, but Leaf dominates the angle. And a 12th round is what G2 are up to.
What a comeback from G2 this has been. But for C9, they can't win, even when they have advantages, even when they're set up. That's a 3v2 with triangle crossfires all over the place. It feels like a classic C9 choke.
Yeah.
It really does. Because they're getting themselves into spots they just can't convert, and they're losing so many important, crucial fights. I mean, Trent just barreled through them. And that is so much frustration on Imi's face. Look at that streak of teal in the timeline.
There's no stopping him. G2 with that hyper discipline and now the crossfire set up that stun connect. Spam! Valin tried to maintain his composure. Tried to play it cool, but eventually the bullets did the job.
That's a huge advantage. Like, paranoia gone, smoke's gone, none of that available for any potential retake. You have breach ult to get into a site. Keep it cool.
Leveled up by G2. They want to try to contact peek into this one. Oxy's found. Dizzy. Molly at the feet. They want to commit. Vulnerability applied. And Vanity barely survives.
They kept Rooney alive, and they've got good information from Moose's ult. They know that they're spread around here. Trent should be hit by the breach ult. I mean, they might not want to commit to this as well. They've still got 50 seconds.
So with a nightfall. Only with one connection as well. And Flash is too deep. Two damn teams. Still Rooney's there with a connection and a trade. Leaf in a 1v2. Damage to the Vanity. Still with the ult. Into this post! And that's how it ends. Finish like that. Impeccable with the timing. G2 taking the series away like that. In a classic G2 fashion.
This one felt like it was set up for Cloud9 to run away with it. Icebox dominant, first half of Lotus, Cloud9 fully in control. The flood defense were working great. Leaf only had 4 kills in the first half here of Lotus. Wins the 1v2 to close it out, and he's at the top of the scoreboard for G2. 19 he ended on. He got 15 kills in their defense half.
That's ludicrous.
You would never believe
it's ludicrous, man.
that he didn't turn up at the start of this game. And yeah, I'm just left with the feeling that that was another bit of a crumble from Cloud9. They are so good when they're in control of the map, but they let it slip, and G2's record starts to improve.
Yep, starts to build it back up. Like you said, 4-3, take a bow, well deserved here. G2, I mean, immense amounts of credit to this team, I think. They have so much trust in the process. You hear teams talk about it. Yeah. But the team set up, the way this team is even, built from top to bottom, they have so much trust in each other that they can commit to a comeback at any point and twist and turn. It doesn't matter if they get absolutely trounced on a map prior. This is a team that you watch them play, it always feels like they know they can win.
I completely agree. And it's the same kind of thing that happens again in this match compared to the previous one, where Oxy's held to mortal standards on the attack side, and not even just that. On the attack side here, only got 1 kill across all of those rounds that started the comeback. A roller coaster of a match where it felt like C9 had complete dominance and then let it slip away, and had that slow start in the first as well. Many opportunities for victory, but G2 grind it out. Are they the best team in Americas? They've certainly been performing at the Masters events recently. Only lost to the 2 finalists of Heretics and Gen G, but still plenty more of Stage 2 to be played. But I think they're a team you've got to keep your eyes on, and you've got to try not to underrate, because they're sneaky, sneaky good.
That's what I mean. Even with them making these deep finishes into Shanghai, people still, they struggle to put respect on the name of the G2 players because they're not flashy in a typical standard. But anyway, enough from us. Let's send it down to the stage with Van Silly for the Verizon post-match interview with, I believe, one singular Leaf.
Thank you, Brennan Sideshow. I am with one singular Leaf. Let's give it up for Leaf, everybody. Leaf, big win that you just got here against Cloud9, but I want to take a step back too to just talk about the series overall. Starting off here with Ascent. You guys came out with a new composition, changing your duelist over to a Neon, and it felt like, to what your coach Josh RT was saying, it felt like you guys weren't really finding your groove on the attack side. So what did C9 do that kind of caught you off guard?
A lot of our stuff on that map kind of was like around early round, and they were just doing a very good job of disrupting it, I feel like. Their site holds were also very good. They had a very good flood protocols and stuff like that with the KO flashes. So I think in general, we had good reads on some rounds, but they were just they were a little bit better. So full props to them. And then defense, it's just Neon. So you just run around and you're everywhere on the map.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the next map then, because you talked about it. Sometimes it's just like they're shooting better or whatnot. I just felt like Icebox was you guys against T1 all over again. Shanghai, any flashbacks going through that game? What happened here?
Yeah, exactly. When I see the Reyna, I'm like, and we're down 9-0, I'm like, wow, this is literally just like China. Like, it's actually just crazy. We definitely need to work on our icebox. I think their comp, I mean, they were hitting their shots, but they're also using their util very well. So I think it was very, very rough. But yeah, we definitely need to work some things out on Icebox.
And no matter what, despite that matchup in Shanghai where you lost Icebox against T1, you still won the series. And in that interview, I think Jonah P was mentioning that you guys are finding a nice groove where you're able to be like kind of like the comeback kings, you know? Because before, when you're losing, you're always folding through, but now you're able to fight forward and win these series. What kind of flipped throughout the season that you guys got that mental to overcome these hurdles?
I mean, I'm not really sure. Like, I can't really pinpoint it exactly. We've been working with like a sports psychologist, or like, I'm not exactly sure what her title is, I'll be honest, but she's been helping us with our mental and stuff like that, because, you know, as you said, like, even when we go down, we somehow make it back. I mean, we were down 11-2 in China, and we made it all the way back to 13-11. So it's like, I think we're just really good. We know like what we can do. We just kind of start really slow sometimes, and it's like, but we can always bounce back in the same map.
Awesome. And 2 more quick questions here. You just talked about going down and back up. I think that's like your performances on Lotus in itself, because you were just telling me on that second half when you started playing the defensive side, you didn't even die once. And Sideshow was mentioning it too. I think you had like 2 kills or something like that in the first half. What happened, and what did they exploit, and how did you turn that over here on your defensive side?
I mean, I feel like attack side Killjoy is just kind of like that sometimes. Like sometimes you just kind of get owned. You don't really get all the fights. I mean, they were just hitting their shots against me too and making sure that they recleared me. Really didn't give me a chance. And then when I swapped to defense, I'm just playing normally, and I'm just kind of playing with my teammates and just communicating. So it's just a lot easier.
Yeah. And lastly here, you're not out of the pit yet, right? There's still some heavy games that you have to play against. You're playing against the Sentinels, the Energies, and Crew. What's your confidence level? What are the chances here that we could see G2 confidently move to the playoffs after today's results?
I mean, I'm very confident against all 3 of those teams. I think stylistically we play very, very well against all of them. I mean, we played Crew like 4 times now or something like that. So we definitely are familiar with all these people, because, you know, it was the people that we were scrimming last split. So it's like we definitely understand the new meta changes kind of changed some maps, and, you know, you see Sen and NRG running some different comps. So it's going to be a little interesting, but I feel like we have the resilience. We have like the individual talent to beat all of those teams. So I think it'll be good games, and I'm very confident.
Well, Lee, thank you so much, man. Congratulations on that win. One more time for Lee, everybody. And folks, don't go too far. We're going to go for a break. And when we come back, we will have VALORANT on the analyst desk with the boys.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Every time I needed a new phone, I had to switch carriers.
I told him, at Verizon, everyone can get the best deals. Like that iPhone 15 on them.
Switching all the time, it wasn't easy.
35.
You're gonna be here forever.
Here's your wireless contract.
Do I need a lawyer for this? Those were hard days.
Representative switch!
Now that I got a huge storage and battery upgrade, I'm officially done switching.
New and existing customers get iPhone 15 on us when they trade in any iPhone, any condition, guaranteed.
I really wish you told me sooner.
I did.
Hey, we're back over here at the desk, well, the couches, and we're joined by VALORANT after G2 picked up the win against Cloud9, and at some point, you got to stop, you know, messing up my heart, because it's just a little too much going on. My heart can't take it, Val.
It's a G2A, man. We're not good enough yet to just close these games clean. We're still trying to improve to get to that point, but at least we're closing them, so I'm happy.
Yeah, after the experience in Shanghai, did you feel like that, you know, helped the team kind of become a little bit more like cohesive and all that, especially after all that you guys went through out there?
Definitely. I mean, not even competition aside, just being in a hotel room with the boys, grinding day in and day out, like it kind of builds that team chem a bit when you travel internationally because you got to do everything together, right? It's a foreign country, so we were brought together. So that definitely helped the team chem. In terms of in-game, I think getting those reps versus the top teams in the world and even getting some big wins for us against the top teams really boost the confidence. And it's like, hey guys, like if we stick to our plan, if we continue playing how we're supposed to, which is like, for us, it's just making plans, keep the comms high, keep the energy high, we can win any match. So it was like a proving tournament for us, I would say. And
showed today, though.
Yeah, I'm very grateful for that experience because I think it shaped me more in all aspects.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you feel content with the result then, or is there still a level of frustration because you were just like a couple meters away from the finish line?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, top 3 is definitely was like a stepping stone for us, so I am happy that we at least made it that far. But the competitor inside of me makes me want to lift that trophy, of course. I was frustrated after the Gen G game because that was a game I felt like we could have had in our hands. Like, I remember I had a crucial mistake. We had some like crucial mistakes that when you watch it back, it just like irks you. Yeah, because we know that if we didn't have that, maybe we could have won. I would say the last day we got completely outclassed, so props to Heretics. But yeah, I want to lift this trophy once, man. It's always a dream to do that.
Yeah. No, for sure, for sure. So looking at this Cloud9 game and considering the time and preparation he had to have, we were kind of shocked because you guys were the ones that were taking risks. You implemented the Neon. Is that something that we're going to be seeing a little bit more from G2?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, not to leak too much, but we have been practicing hard. You know, we haven't taken much of a break. I mean, we reset the sleep schedule early when we first came back, but besides that, like, we had both weekends we were practicing. Like, we had no days off because we knew that we were behind on time. These teams were watching us, prepping us all this time that we're in Shanghai, plus a new patch drop. So, you know, it's been a rough week. I know the boys are like tired and stressed out, and so am I, to be honest. But coming out with this win today was big for us. Yeah. And once we reach this goal, now we can take an off day tomorrow and maybe revisit the comps and, you know, just get that rest that we really need.
Yeah. For sure. I think that it goes without saying that you guys have been through the ringer. You're feeling a little bit of that fatigue that we have seen other teams kind of deal with before. Now that you're in this position, though, and there was a discussion that was had about G2 being the, you know, like the best team in Americas right now. Is that how you feel currently, or do you feel like there's still just more?
No, I think we're still a bit behind to be the best team. You know, we are great and we've shown good results, but the international event doesn't define us. You know, even if we had a bad event, it doesn't define us. We had a good one, it doesn't really define us. We just have our heads focused on trying to continue to win. And until I reach that trophy, I'm never going to say I'm the best. You know, right now I would say 100 Thieves because they're the Stage 1 champs. And, you know, we're having these slow starts and hiccups in maps. Like you saw the Icebox look pretty bad. You know, the calls feel good and the game feels like we're playing it correctly, but sometimes we're just making these uncharacteristic mistakes, I would say, and we're still trying to nail that down. And once we can do that, maybe I'll be confident to call us the best in the world, or best in Americas.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. I wanted to ask about the Icebox in specific because for a while in Stage 1, that was a go-to map for you guys.
Yeah.
That you were finding win after win after win on. And then I think there was, if I remember correctly, a game against Loud at the very end of the season where they had a convincing win against you guys. And from there, it just seemed like you haven't been able to remedy you know, the issues that are occurring. What's kind of your take on that map right now and what's going wrong, what you're going to try to fix?
It honestly is hard to say because in practice, the map feels good for us. And we watch back the VODs and, you know, we always come up with new game plans or ideas on how to play the comp again. Or not again, but in different ways to not be readable because we have shown it a lot, the double controller, double initiator. But, you know, I honestly, it's hard to give you the answer because I got to go rewatch the VOD and see what happened this time. I feel like every time with this map, it's something different for us. I would say, you know, versus Loud, they just were finding holes in our opens, so they were able to get 5v4s like almost every single round. This time, they just exploited B and we're down 0-8. It's a new problem every time, but I think with that, we're just going to keep trying to nail it down until we start winning on that map again because, to be honest, I'm comfortable with teams picking it. They look at our results and say, "Oh, this is the worst map for G2," but I'm confident with our map, with that map still. So we just got to see what we got to do.
I wanted to ask you, actually. Sorry, I've just been listening very intently. I've just been, like, writing this shit down. Sorry, excuse me.
It's okay, don't worry, still a player. We'll allow it.
Just player to player, but I wanted to ask you directly because I think we all come to our own conclusions and think about like what y'all's play style is. And I've always seen you guys as like a very complete team that has many win conditions. Like, you know, there are teams that are very form dependent on like pop-offs, like individual pop-offs. Like this guy needs to get a 3K in this round, and then suddenly you win the game. But for me, I've always seen you guys as a very complete team. But I kind of wanted to hear it directly from you, like what you think your team's play style is, especially with IC as well.
Yeah, I mean,
not to leak too much, but
yeah, well, humbly, I feel like we don't have, or not that we don't have, but we don't play to the conditions of like we have this star player that is gonna fry. We feel like we're all equal like skill, if that makes sense. We don't put anyone on a pedestal like this is our star. We have to play around him, and that kind of forces us to play a very team-dependent Valorant. You know, humbly, I feel like there are star players that can take over games, and you know we have those moments as well, but it's not like that's not our identity. And so we make sure that our wins are all 5 contributing, and with that, you know, you got to nail out all the protocols. Like you got to be very tight in your opens because you're not just sending one guy out to go kill everyone. You got to, your post plants have to be very different. You can't run the same inside post plant every time. You got to push more. You got to take more space, and then maybe you could fall off. Like we go through a lot of team-based protocols that we try to implement from barrier drop until the bomb explodes. So I would say that, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say, honestly.
Feels like you guys are the sum of all your parts.
Yeah,
rather
yeah.
than like one part being bigger. Like what you said, right? You don't really put anyone on a pedestal. Everyone's kind of just contributing equally to this team, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think you see it with our play style, of course, because we play very pack heavy, very pack into insert. We don't like just having a guy fight by himself, or even Cloud9's a team who will like buy Oxy a gun on round 2, and we don't like to take those risks. And you know, maybe it's good for some teams, but for us, I would say we just you know, focus on our team play.
All right. Hey, you know what? I mean, you guys got the win today. Yeah. That's what matters, right? We do have a question from Twitch chat. This one's from Mothman Moore. I know Mothman. What's up, boy? How you doing? With huge game changes, how difficult is it to rematch a team knowing they can play completely different than the last time? Which, you know, for C9, you guys have met before. So yeah, how was that for play out?
I mean, my most recent experience was playing Heretics 3 times.
Yeah.
And
third time had to be a charm for them at that point. You know?
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I think rematching a team is very difficult. As a competitor, and I'm sure Mel can also attest to this, like when you lose a match, especially when it's close, when you rewatch the VOD, you're like, dude, if we fix this little one mistake, we could have won the game. Yeah. And so when a team loses to you in a close fashion, and they can rewatch the VOD and say, dude, if we fix this one thing, we can beat them. While on our side, it feels like our stuff was working. Like our stuff was good, we won the game. Maybe, you know, I always, even in wins, try to learn a lesson from it. But yeah, it just, the other team feels more confident in the rematch. And also going into a new patch, like the question asked, yeah, it is difficult because we have not as much time to implement new stuff. They have all the footage on us because we just competed, and they can swap up comps. So we went into this game with the mindset of we have to just focus on us 100%. We can't focus too much on them, anti-stratting, whatever, because they could run anything. And so that was a big focus for us, just nailing down each part of our game to where there's no gaps, there's no mistakes that can be to happen. And of course, there's still going to be some, right? But that's the mindset when you go into these matches of you don't know what they're going to play, so you just got to full focus on you, and you have to live adapt. So that's where you see the IGLs have to step up even more. Yeah. The team has to step up even more because you don't know what's going to happen to you, and when it happens live, you only have so many rounds to actually fix it. And I would say that happened to us on Lotus, actually, because they ran a double initiator breach gecko, and we haven't seen that. We haven't competed against that, so that was a match we had to just live adjust, and it all worked out.
Indeed, it did. Let's take a look at the standings and see where we are right now with G2's win against Cloud9. They should be inching a little bit further up, which they are in 5th place in top 6. Remember, you want to be in that top 6 because that means you can make your way over to the playoffs. C9, though, is going to take a step down a bit as they are 5-2, excuse me, courtesy of that loss against G2. So yeah, there's certainly been some interesting movement, man. Want to get your thoughts, though, Valen, on the weekend. I know you were watching a few of the games. Anything that caught your eye?
I mean, what didn't catch my eye, right? We saw Furia close out a 2-0 versus 100 Thieves, who are the defending Stage 1 champs, and I don't think anyone was expecting that. Yeah. But for them, you know, coming with a new player, new game plan, they looked like they revived themselves a bit. So I am excited to see Furia be a better contender in this Stage 2. And the second game, I think people were surprised that EG won, but I always known that EG's a good team, even though they had a shaky stage 1.
Yeah.
They're a strong team with really good chemistry in and out the server, so that result wasn't too surprising for me.
Oh.
Real recognize real.
Yeah.
When you were seeing Jajimo playing that Neon, was I giving you some ideas?
Oh, yeah. The round that he stunned the guy, backwards slid.
Dude, yeah, that was crazy.
Everyone saw that
was
one,
nasty
right?
work.
That was nasty.
That broke that dude's ankles. That felt so bad. He was like, what are you even supposed to do in that? It's just spray. Just like,
Jajimo's known for that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, this patch is really going to play into his hand, the ISO, the Neon. So I'm excited to see that guy pop off. He's my boy.
Yeah, it's awesome stuff there. Okay, well, folks, you saw the schedule as well. The matches are going to be on the horizon. Next week, though, we're going to have a massive week for VCT Americas. One week that someone could say is super. That's right. Whoa! We got the explosion back. Super Week is back. Explosion? Yes. You want to try it? Say Super Week. Super Week. See, that's it. We got it. We got the explosion. It's a great time to be alive, people. But in any case, though, folks, we're going to have 5 straight days of action, and all of it starts on Saturday. We have Evil Geniuses taking on Furia, which, I'm excited for that one. Yep. And then we'll get your Cruz out, because Cruz going to be taking on Sentinels. Oh, I feel bad for Alejandro. He's going to have to pick his side there.
I've been looking forward to seeing Crew again.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting, folks. You don't want to miss it. Super Week is on the horizon. Forget it. I'm going to say it a million times. Super Week is back. Week. All right, we'll see you guys next week. Take care, folks. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you. This has been a fun rivalry that's been developing between G2 Esports and Cloud9. C9 getting knocked out of the playoffs courtesy of G2, and G2 being the team with the deepest run of any America's team in Shanghai, and yet still the respect not given to them.
Potentially with this kill, yep, dropped out. This is the nightmare scenario. Well, not quite a game sense, but a mechanical ability still. This time, he has single-handedly won them this, surely. Question is, how does Leaf really tackle it? Anybody watching for this one? Oh, jumping around. It's a little bit messy still. Reinforcements arriving into the fray. Anybody who tries to take a step, Valin forwards, just cleans both of them up. 13-11.
Good closeout from G2.
Left it just down to Moose now. Doesn't matter about the lack of weaponry because they got the man advantage. Spraying it through almost there with the transfer. And finally with the bullets landing. Shot from the Sheriff, but Leaf not expecting it. Look at it, man. Blinded. Oh, they lined up.
Oh, no.
Jonah P peeking out over the edge, dropping down, Lou. But okay, Moose. None the wiser, detained up. Right clicks, knife out. Shanking him in place. Cloud9. That's the way they do it! Oh, that's simply amazing stuff. It's blinded though. Parano, I believe, and just doesn't know which time to take here. Oxy still hard committed. Doors open wide, not going to be met, and everybody falls. Great game sense there by Zeppa. Detainment here for Jonah P, and there's no chance, no shot, no world at all.
The spike could go down.
Leaf is so fast, man! And look at the spray down, the transfer itself. Leaf in a 1v2. Damage under Vanity, still with the ult. Into this post! And that's how it ends! Impeccable with the timing. G2 taking the series away like that. In a classic G2 fashion.